Welcome back. Part 1 was dropped earlier, so if you missed it, kindly go through our previous video. Now let's roll. When Aiden woke up the next morning, the world was already different. The sun leaked faintly through his blinds, but it wasn't the light that pulled him from sleep. It was the vibration of his phone. Non-stop, relentless, buzzing like a swarm of bees that refused to leave. At first, he thought it was a glitch, but when he reached for the screen, rubbing the sleep from his eyes, the truth stunned him. Hundreds of notifications, then thousands. Messages stacking on top of each other so fast he couldn't swipe them away. Comments from strangers, requests from journalists, offers from small record labels whose names he had never even heard before. The shaky video from the cafe, the one his best friend had pushed him to perform at, had blown up overnight. Millions of views, millions of eyes, all watching him. Some said his voice gave them chills. Others confessed that his song carried them through heartbreak, loss, or loneliness. A single, unpolished performance in a corner cafe had become something bigger than he could imagine. And for the first time, Aiden felt it. His music mattered to someone other than himself. But alongside the love came pressure. In a matter of days, Aiden went from a quiet boy no one noticed to the dark horse the internet couldn't stop talking about. Headlines called him the hidden gem, the boy with the storm in his voice. Social media wanted more. More songs, more videos, more of him. And suddenly, expectation pressed down like a weight on his chest. The first official gig came quickly. Too quickly. A crowded downtown bar, its neon sign flickering against the night sky. Aiden stood backstage, his guitar heavy in his hands. The stage lights burned hot even before he stepped into them. The crowd was restless, noisy, clinking glasses and laughter bouncing through the room. His hands shook, his throat felt dry. He wanted to run, but when he opened his mouth and sang that first note, everything shifted, just like it had in the cafe. The noise died down, heads turned, conversations froze. By the time his set was over, people were chanting his name, strangers clapping until their palms turned red. That night, Aiden walked home with tears in his eyes. For the first time, he thought, maybe this is real. Maybe this is who I was meant to be. But fame is never simple. The same friends who once told him to give up now reached out. Some with congratulations, others with envy. His closest friend, the one who had pushed him onto that cafe stage, grew distant. One night, over the phone, his words cut deeper than the harshest review. "You've changed," he said quietly. "You don't even have time for us anymore." Aiden wanted to argue, to explain, but deep down, he knew it was true. Days blurred into endless rehearsals, interviews, phone calls with strangers who claimed to know what was best for him. Managers, promoters, producers, all pulling him in different directions. Sleep became rare, meals forgotten, and in those few quiet moments between the chaos, doubt crept back in. Online, the criticism cut the deepest. For every fan who praised him, there were others who sneered. Overrated. A fluke. One-hit wonder. Some mocked his looks, others his voice. No matter how loud the applause grew, the insults always echoed louder in his head. One night, after a show where his voice cracked and the reviews were brutal, Aiden came home, dropped his guitar on the floor, and sank into silence. His hands covered his face as he whispered into the emptiness. What if they're right? What if I don't belong here? What if I was never meant for this? The guitar, once his escape, his lifeline, now felt like a chain. But then, as he sat in the dark, his phone buzzed again. It wasn't another manager or another critic. It was a voice note from a stranger. The trembling voice said, "Your song saved me tonight. Please don't stop. The world needs you." Aiden froze, his breath caught in his chest. Tears spilled freely down his cheeks, and in that moment he understood. It wasn't about fame. It wasn't about critics or numbers. It was about connection, about people who heard his songs and felt less alone. He picked up his guitar again. For the first time in weeks, he played, not out of fear, not to prove himself, but because he needed to, because someone out there needed him. The next show was the biggest of his life. A packed theater, thousands of faces waiting in the dark. Backstage, his knees shook, his hands trembled. The old doubt whispered in his mind, "You're not ready. You'll fail." But then, he remembered that voice message. He remembered the people who found hope in his music. And when he stepped into the spotlight, the fear melted. The crowd roared as he strummed the first chord. His voice carried not just over the microphone, but through every heart in the room. He sang like a man who had been broken and rebuilt, every lyric carved from pain, every note filled with fire. By the final chorus, the audience was on their feet, singing with him. Strangers wiped tears from their eyes. The walls shook with something more powerful than sound. Healing, unity, release. And when the last note faded, Aiden stood taller. He wasn't invisible anymore. He wasn't just the boy no one believed in. He was the voice for everyone who had been silenced. Forgotten, overlooked, the dark horse had risen. And though the road ahead would be filled with storms, Aiden knew he was ready. Because this time, he wasn't running from the light. He was running toward it. That will be all on Darkhorse. Rise to Stardom. Thank you for following. A new video will be dropping soon. Until then, please like, share, subscribe to Vast Realm Network, and turn on notification bell to get notified when it drops. See you soon!